Alka 1964 here to review of Thursday's action from 2026 Cheltenham Festival. A good day for me with Home by the Lee. As I did back the horse, it's part of the Opak Starry Supreme. It's the only one I've had, but at least it was a high enough price, but it makes up for the losers I've had so far. And I think we also got on it slightly higher on Betfair, means even if I don't have the winners tomorrow, or at least, well, I say tomorrow, but today for Friday, I should at least break even. Maybe a slight loss, possibly going with anything at all. Certainly was behind until that stairs hurdle. We start in the Dawn Run Mares Hurdle, one of these races I'm not sure really needs to exist. Certainly the 3-day festival will be taken out. I don't mind a 4-day festival, but I think some races like Mountain Pipe Race coming up today, I just wonder if they're really necessary at a festival. White Noise, well found by Will Smith. At the time of the Cheltenham Festival preview event, great to see a Hollywood star there. Also shares his name with a guy from Racing Post Throw. And he said either to back the horse each way or in the without. Being a fever market, being a fever winning an absolute shocker. Mullins blaming the ground, good soft in places and prefer a softer surface. There's arguments about whether the horse would perform or not, so he did nothing at all. I'll come back to Mullins in a minute. There's a great win there for White Noise. A consistent hurdler actually had been turned over in the Jane Seymour Mares Hurdle at Warwick the time before on heavy ground, and a run on good and good as soft, and winning what was now classed as good ground. There's always debate what it was going to be. I couldn't make my mind up between good and good as soft. I think I switched actually good to soft from good, and I was looking at horses. I better selected some horses and changed my mind about some of them actually. But there's also saying well, Bambino Fina jumped poorly as well, so it's not just for going. And Rivetta bet examined Bambino Fever after the race, had nothing to report. And the steward's report also saying that Eamon Kate was reluctant to jump off in the hampering Blue Velvet, so they both started quite slowly. They Meet Me by the Sea winning the Golden Miller Novices Limited Handicap Chase. Again, a horse at some preview events was well chipped up, and that improvement in form and true support for this race, saying that Oman Dingle made a mistake at the 5th fence, resulting in one reason that he nearly unseating him, but ended up with him being unplaced. Not quite sure where this was and why. A horse looking at 40-1. I'm not quite sure if she was needed to know that really. I mean, I would have thought this better time with more fancy horses. And also, as I say, Made by the Sea, proving off an awful performance last time out at Newbury. But Ben Pauling saying that the faster ground, the intriguing John Dance. Used to turn up to town preview events on the panel. It's unsurprising he doesn't now. I'm not going to judge. His court case is still actually out, so I'm not going to say he's guilty or innocent. I don't know that yet. We'll find out. But you used to talk with smelly ones from JP Romanis, and I wonder if that is one he would have thought was one actually. Maybe just getting him a much better handicap mark by winning very badly in the Game Spirit Chase. Mares Hurdle Udu winning well enough here to win. I don't think it was the greatest race, and missing basically possibly 3 best mares of this distance. Golden Ace, who actually had run the Dawn Runs, and I think would probably got this trip safely. Flossimar certainly would have done, but Dave's Head would have as well. So maybe you got to ask, is this really a Grade 1 anymore? If too many horses are winning it, I think it looks a slightly ropey race, to be honest with you. Cerudo winning from Jada Grugy. Not much you can say really about this. I wish it back to Tara, then I changed, being a bit softer, and went to take no chances neither, which really, though, ever go well enough in the race. And the big win here for me, Home by the Lee. Also had a small bit of money in Hewick, who thought might have a chance as well. I thought the weightings and the odds, I thought Home by the Lee was a better chance. Hewick ran perfectly well for a long way, but maybe just same age actually as Home by the Lee. 11-year-old, it's the oldest. I just wonder, the oldest horse doing a championship race now. Is it possibly since Crimson Members? Oh no, Moscow Flower would have been. Moscow Flower won the 2005 champion chase at 11-year-old, but it's certainly not a common thing to win a championship race at 11. I mean, obviously, CPG won the champion hurdle, Nate won at 11. You're going back. What a myth, winning the Gold Cup in 69 as a 12-year-old. But it's not something you see seeing quite a lot of. And one again, his little quality, maybe not the best race here. Tihupu saying he's been favoured now 4 times this race. He only won it once, and twice he's been unplaced. And frankly, it's just I just wonder if it just isn't necessarily his track. He has for first and second, I suppose, but he's not. He's just going to think before him as a favourite, and for a race and winning it once and tries to unplace it's a bit of a concern. But Humber, he also 5th time he's entered this race and finally winning it. The order coming in the race 6th, 5th, 3rd, and last year unseated when he was actually hampered. and finally winning it now. His last performance winning was a Galway hurdle. But I'm thinking, who has any horse ever won a championship race from a fifth effort of it not won it before? I mean, obviously, how Golden Mill and Cuvega won won Gold Cup 5 times, Cuvega won this Mare's Hurdle 6 times. They won it, of course, before. Humber Lee hasn't. It was his fifth effort finally winning the race. Look at favourites, say, championship type races. King George Chase, Curacao winning his fourth effort and took in Cheltenham, but Bestachara Champion Chase and the Fell on the Gold Cup both won it on the fourth effort and the fifth effort. I don't know if it's happened before. Now, where he goes on this, can he win it next year? Well, you never know. And it's not impossible, I suppose. And I'm not sure it's the greatest race. I'm not. Cheltenham at town, I thought, won it. Coming to the final hurdle, I thought, he's won a really good race, so Cheltenham town's going to win it. I mean, he jumps, he wins. And I don't know what odds have got him not being placed in winning. I know it was something like 1 to 4 to win at one point. So what he traded on to be on Betfair in wanting to actually be placed. And when he was 100 to 1 on, I was something like, well, can't be too far off that, I would have thought. Surely it just fell apart. Harry Skelton talking to ITV after the race saying that he maybe something's wrong with the horse. He could just completely stop. Dan Skelton saying, well, he just didn't stay. We'll find out maybe if there's an issue there. But some of the well more supported horses not disappointing as well, like Lama Shantu and Poitois. On my horse, anti-post bet from last year, Bob Bollinger winning a decent race. Saying Ballyburn just went to the room and found the hurdle, and I think Paul Townend saying to ITV, I think he's saying he just wouldn't know. I think for me it was just sort of he was disappointed, and he just felt maybe it was a bit unlucky. Possibly that interfered with Mayfields. I'm not sure. The stewards had decided that didn't affect the result. I'd be very surprised. I don't think Ballyburn would have ever got the win. I don't think it was close enough. But the stewards report does say that he edged slightly across, moving a couple of them town towards the outside world, resulting in Ballyburn and Teahupoo becoming momentarily inconvenienced. So maybe it was a bit Townend maybe just playing his hand there. I think possibly in his comments I think the right result was there, and not just of course it would be an absolute horror story for me. I think Bedford might be first past the post, I think, if I remember right though. Anyway, I seem to remember it's first past the post anyway, so we'll see about it. I'm not sure about that. Interesting that Townend, in fact, the stewards there, actually saying there's some interference between Townend himself and Jack Kennedy, and actually Townend getting having some words from the stewards, not a ban or anything, but just a warning. So it's interesting he seemed to think he might be interfered with when he was warned by the stewards for actually doing exactly that. Although he talked about Tyrone Teahupoo being interfered with, so that made no difference. In Poitois, Henderson saying that Nicola Rovers just said the horse was never travelling, and Rich Vet saying there's nothing to report there. So also Mash Santuva looked into that. And then Manavelle saying they couldn't have she couldn't have an explanation of horse's performance, and again the vet said there was nothing to report. And the vet reported McCaberon had lost his right foreshoe, so maybe that's affected him a bit, but I'm just sure it didn't stop him winning the race. So I mean, kind of greens the horse, but I don't think it's ever really massively affected their result. And a big story here of the Festival Trophy Chase, known as a Ryanair Chase. It's always had the same sponsor, bar. It's started in 2005 when Daily Telegraph sponsored it. The only thing we was looking at here was El Perro Pass being pulled up, and Mullins saying that Townend had told him about horses never travelling, and again looking at El Perro Pass and had nothing to report. Story here, of course, the fact of Fowl not winning. I disagree with Mullins here. I think he seems to. There's a split opinion of this, I will say, and I don't think someone say split opinion on my view and everyone else has a different view. Here it is split. Is whether you should basically have a going good to soft, say, certainly a bit more some watering to make sure you have the best horses win the race, or whether you should say it's good ground, should be shouldn't be an inconvenience to anybody really. I remember Nickname winning the championship. Well, we pulled up champion chase, and Nickname's trainer saying, "Well, ground's fine, it's good to soft, I think," but he needed soft ground, and he didn't say ground is wrong. He's saying ground is unacceptable, and for Cheltenham he's just saying I need soft ground, horse needs soft ground. It's perfectly good situation, but his nickname needs soft ground. But Mullins, I was wondering this. Mullins 10 years ago, I was at what was for the Select Hurdle. I was actually, I think, to see Watty Johnson collect his first ever jockey's title, but also I hadn't been to the Bet 365 meeting before either, so it was 10 years ago. And it was a battle then between Paul Nicholls and William Mullins. Mullins trying to be the first, I think, the first Irish trainer to win British title. I'm not sure if Vincent Ryan ever won it. Maybe he might have done, I don't know, but I think he might have been certainly first fan, or maybe first ever. And it became clear that early races than McCarthy, Mullins hadn't got enough headway and couldn't win. and the select hurdle, Roomville Mag, was pretty much even money favourite, and he pulled the horse out. Not because he won the horse to injury, he just said, I can't win this title, I'm pulling the horse out. I thought it was really poor, actually. Because Roomville Mag was a star. I've seen him win some races that year, and there's one reason that people might go along to see horse like Roomville Mag, and I just think it was a poor decision to pull her out. Or basically, on the grounds of, well, not, I think it was warned, I don't know if it's fined for it or not, but it was an unacceptable reason. I think, I can't be bothered, really. Isn't a good side of the punters or people going to a course. And here again he's going on a bit. I think there's nothing wrong with good ground. I remember also the Oaks a few years back now. It was within possibly good to firm ground, and they decided water despite a depth and despite quite heavy wind being forecast. So watered and rain came, and it ended up basically on soft ground for the Oaks, and it turned into a top fast. The one was won by a mile in the end. It made it look ridiculous. And yeah, I think there's nothing wrong, I think, with good to firm ground for Derby or the Oaks, and we're seeing nothing wrong with good ground for jumps. I think it's simply wrong. And people say, we're saying, well, I might not beat my horses over. Well, fair enough. You've got the Punchestown Festival later on. If you've got the Dublin Racing Festival, you can run for that. You cannot have a situation where you just create ground for certain horses just because, it makes it easier for them. The race itself, John Bond, great horse, just doesn't really act at Cheltenham. It's not quite his course. Every single race he's been in, though he's been in first two, he's a fantastic servant to JP McManus, but it's just not a Cheltenham horse. Hartwood winning the race. The last race had been a win at Traymore, the New Year's Day race that Alma Photo always used to run in. We see his reappearance in that race. From second race last year. So it's a bit disappointing that the best horse winning race, Fact the Foul, didn't run. There's not much you can say about that. And I'm controversy about René. I like the race myself. I think it should still exist, but I don't. But again, it's maybe this point in the time there's queries about whether Fact the Foul could have scared people off and they're not running. All things are a bit unsatisfactory. I still like the race as a concept. Would rather not go back to a situation of a 2 miles, 3 mile 2 race and that's it. In no immediate race at all. You do have the Aintree Chase, I submit to that in the immediate distance, but Aintree has very little common with Cheltenham, bar both being left-handed, that's about it, and stiff, and that's about it. There's mile-by course I'm talking of, of course. Next attempts hurdle. Stewart's looking at possible interference between Supreme West, ridden by Harry Skelton and Ike Sport, ridden by Conor O'Farrell. Skelton was cautioned with careless riding, causing O'Farrell to have a slight check, but there was no actual ban there, just some words with Stewart to Skelton. And Jack Kennedy saying with Staffordson not to jump badly right-handed, and the vet examining the horse and saying was nothing to report. Supreme West, another horse who was well tipped up in the 2 previews, who went to a Hexham and Tynemouth, and so a perfectly easy win there for the horse. Not winning since late December when the Haydock, and previously winning at Sheffield and Carlisle's. And lastly, we have the, as has been joked with, new trainer, Mrs. Thea Williams, star of the future maybe, training our Spooster. Of course, as you may know, this is Evan Williams' wife. Evan Williams, 2 days ago, was convicted of assaulting a pensioner, basically, who mistook allegedly for a poacher. Whole thing looks frankly ridiculous, and I mean, as in, plead not guilty, and apparently saying the pensioner fell over, and I thought, surely people can tell the difference in the pensioner sort of falling over and has been helped with being hit by a stick. I think the injuries must have been, I'm guessing, will look a bit obvious, frankly. Whether he gets sent to prison or not, I don't know, but the defence looked, I know the case anyway, I can so recently, I didn't know about it till a few days ago actually, that the defence looks crazy. I'm not overly keen on horse winning for that reason solely. Interesting race in UK, was it UK, it's called Racing TV, is it these days? God, I can't remember what things Racing TV, not Racing UK. I haven't seen I didn't see an interview with the connections. So did they not want to do it? Did the connections refuse because of what might be said? I don't know. One good thing about it is a win for Shane Cotter, a £7 claimer. So it's a great for him. Of course, a Cheltenham Festival winner was staying on well. Woldham looked like he was going to get up actually, and in the end, Aspers finding enough in front to win the race. The only things here, Kimrock, the stewards say when it came fourth, came a slightly short of him at some point, but they found a wedding offence was there. And my horse Hung Jury, who was a bit of an outsider, pulled up and James King saying he was never travelling. I'm not quite sure what. Again here, 50-1 short my horse. Why the stewards need to talk about a horse not winning very well? It's not like a favourite. I don't quite know what we're talking to him about really. It's just got a slow start. Well, I think it was never going. He was struggling to go the pace entire way. So I think that was pretty obvious. I don't really know why she had to involve themselves in that. Winner last booster. Had that greatest one last time out, the London National, coming 5th out of 6, quite well beaten. Before that, it had a good run of wins at Chepstow. Again, a new course at Cheltenham and Chepstow again, over various trips. Also was one on varying grounds between soft to good to firm. So that's that. I'll come now just do a video for the racing coming up today. I'll be watching that in Middlesbrough actually, so Newcastle where I live, as I've got a ticket to see Will Gilbert in the evening at Middlesbrough, which was a meeting, an event that was supposed to be held late last year, and it got cancelled because of Zero and switched to this day. And it's going to be easier just to go to Middlesbrough then, because I think I'll watch Newcastle. I went so late at Middlesbrough in time, frankly, especially I don't want missing trains being cancelled. So just we'll get a morning train into Middlesbrough and just watch the racing, one of the bookmakers in Middlesbrough.